Živio, Heather Trevar-Tukaj, your Slovenian citizen diplomat. Today we're talking about coffee. I know, more coffee, right? How much can I talk about it? Well, I want to follow up on what I was talking about in the video where I showed you how to use the stovetop espresso maker. I want to discuss more about this whole coffee break situation. And I'll tell you right now, my coffee breaks are so important to me that this lovely cup we got from a friend in Slovenia, it's empty. Why? Well, I love making these videos and I hope you find them valuable, but they are work. And I don't drink my coffee when I'm working. I don't drink my coffee when I'm driving. I don't drink my coffee when I'm packing the kids' lunches. I'm not trying to get a few dishes done in between sips of coffee. I don't do that. Why? Because I have learned from Slovenia to respect myself and allow myself to relax and recharge. When I was a new mom, and I mentioned this in the espresso maker video, I quickly learned that if you cannot recharge, relax, rest, you cannot serve the people you need to serve. In addition, I think it's also an empathy situation. If you know that you need this rest and you see how much better you feel when you get it, you can be a better employer, a better manager, a better politician, because you realize that other people need this too. And the respect is very important. I have a friend who said, Christians think you should sacrifice yourself all the time, and it's just not true because you have to recharge so that you can do what you need to do. He's absolutely right. And I think it also comes back to acknowledging that as human beings, we are valuable. We need to acknowledge the value of other people, but how do you do that when you don't value yourself? So, we're going to take a coffee break, or it could be a tea break, or it could be a chocolate bar break, or 15 minutes in your reading nook break, whatever it is. There is time in the day, in most situations, not always, I understand that, where you can take time for yourself. In Slovenia, with the exception of Ljubljana, maybe a couple of other major cities, when there's a holiday, everything shuts down. In the US, it's 4th of July, it's Labor Day, it's whatever holiday. You go out and you can go shopping, even on Thanksgiving Day, right? Not there. If it's a major holiday, everything shuts down, the doors are closed, period. On Saturdays, the shops close early, which really surprised me because I'm thinking, aren't all these people out working Monday through Friday? Why are the retailers not open on Saturday? They're not. Sundays, they're definitely closed. It's because they believe that everyone needs to relax and recharge. On their Independence Day, no one was working the day before on a Sunday, and no one was working that Monday. The only shops we found open were a gas station, and one of the castles we went to had a tourist shop open. That was it. The malls were closed. The pharmacy was closed. They're not joking around. They take relaxation seriously. Why? Because it matters. You matter, other people matter. And you know, if you go to work at Aldi or Lidl, you know how fast they get you through those lines, even though the lines are long sometimes? It's because the Germans know you ought to be able to get it done. You don't need to kill yourself working 24 hours a day. And there is definitely a German influence over Slovenia, and perhaps this is where it comes from, or part of it may just be their culture from thousands of years ago. But in any case, Slovenians know you need to rest. As Americans, we are in a constant state of panic, and there's a good reason for this. Most of us can be fired at any minute for any reason. There are a few exceptions to this, but not nearly enough. And I've heard Slovenians say, it seems like Americans are really nervous at work. And I said, yeah, of course they are. They have every right to be. I was. When you're the only one paying your way, or you've got a family to support, of course you have to be nervous. We have no labor laws protecting us, with a few exceptions which cover very few employers. So that makes it more difficult when you're at work to go take your break. This is what I'm going to suggest. Don't do anything crazy that's going to get you fired. I mean, I know where you're coming from. But what I'm also telling you is that cultural resistance is the place to start. And this is why it's so important to see how Slovenia does things right, what we can implement here in the US. Because you and I go vote, right? And yet, people get elected that do bad things. Good people, we think, get elected, and they still do bad things. They won't keep doing them if they know we will absolutely resist them. So, I know you need that report by 1 o'clock. I've been at my desk since 7 a.m. I have to eat lunch, and I'm not eating it at my desk. I'm not getting crumbs on the keyboard. I'm not some uncivilized person who eats where she works. I'm going to leave physically and go to a different location. It might be the cafeteria down the hall. It might be to a restaurant. I might be sitting on a park bench. But I'm going to physically leave and go somewhere else. And I will not cram the food down my throat so that I end up with indigestion. I'm going to take time to eat it properly. And when I'm done, I will come back and give you the report. Again, I'm not saying turn some report in late and get yourself fired. I'm not saying do that. Obviously use common sense because most employers can fire you for any reason at all. But when you have the opportunity to say, I'm going to do it this way because this is a way for me to rest and recharge and relax and I deserve that, other people will begin to see it too. I remember I went to see someone at her office one time and I was starting to get hungry. I said, let's eat. And so we went to the grocery store, got something to eat, and came back and sat at our desk and ate. And there was a break room there too. We could have gone to the break room, but she wanted to eat at her desk. And I'm not saying that she was foolish for doing this. I'm just saying it's a culture where automatically this is what we do. No. Another thing is if you're eating at your desk, where you work, where your mind is in a certain mode, how can you possibly relax when you're trying to eat? When you're in that space where you have all this energy from working? You can't. So again, don't do anything stupid that's going to get you fired. And when I say stupid, I mean, I hate to say that it's stupid to take a real lunch break, but you've got to be careful because we live in a society where politicians value campaign contributions over workers' rights. And that's just a simple fact of the matter. So, don't do anything that's going to get you fired, but when you have a chance to be that resistance, be that resistance. Take a walking break for 10 minutes to stretch your legs. Take your lunch break and go somewhere else. You don't have to spend $50 on lunch. Just go outside, take a walk, sit down and eat for a few minutes. Relax and recharge. And when other people see you doing it, they'll begin to realize, yes, I should do it. And I realize a lot of you don't even eat lunch. You just work through lunch. So let's try and change things a little bit at a time and see if we can make a dent and teach other Americans that we are valuable and we should be able to relax once in a while. And by once in a while, I mean at least 15 minutes a day. More than that, actually. I need 2 coffee breaks a day minimum. Okay, I hope you found this useful. I hope it provides you with some insight. If you have any comments on how we can improve American culture, which relates directly to our workers' rights and how we treat ourselves in home, because a lot of times at home you work just as hard as you do outside the home, then let me know in the comments below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for weekly updates. Until next time, adio.